some way, or what do we do?
There's
About that?
really not any way, it's just a technical issue, it'll be up later. So are we live? All right, so we'll go ahead and call, we're having some technical difficulties. This isn't being live streamed to YouTube, but we are recording it and we'll post it to YouTube later. So we'll go ahead and call to order the November 10th, 2022 regular council meeting of the town of Tallulah Falls. I'd like to have a moment of silence. I'd like to get a motion to approve the agenda. Joey makes the motion, Scott seconds, all in favor, it's unanimous. Need to have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Joey makes the motion, Scott seconds, all in favor, unanimous. Warren's with us via Zoom. Do we have an attorney's report?
No.
Okay. We'll move on to new business. We've got the projects for LMIG. Everybody looked through that. Have any questions? No questions. Okay, then have a motion to approve the LMIG grant request. Scott makes the motion. Joey seconds, all in favor, unanimous. Okay, then we have, last month, we essentially approved or talked about the new payment schedule for Unicode, but we didn't actually have a document, the agreement, so I'd like to just go ahead and have a motion to sign, I guess we have to sign the agreement.
We have to sign it, and we also need to pick our renewal date and whether or not it starts at the renewal date, it starts at signing. The difference being, if we adopted a new ordinance, would we want to do it now, or do we want to pick a date? Like our normal is like March. We did March as our renewal date, then it didn't start till then. Or let's do it. Yeah, so we just have to pick our renewal date, which really doesn't matter, we're into our new fiscal year. Doesn't matter.
So we just need a motion to accept this agreement with Unicode. Scott makes a motion, Joey seconds, all in favor, unanimous. We'll choose a date that fits. All right, and then we have the resolution to adopt the hotel motel excise tax of 8%. So we have the resolution in the packet. We had the presentation last month from Rick Story. So are there any other questions? Is this something we want to move forward with?
Yep.
Okay, so then I'll have a motion to adopt the resolution. Joey makes that motion, Scott seconds, all in favor, unanimous. And
I know we're all supposed to sign this. Do you have a copy that you want us to sign?
all right, then we have the Tallulah Adventure LLC alcohol license renewal. I'm guessing everything's they fulfilled all their requirements. And, so have a motion to accept the renewal. Scott makes that motion, Joey seconds, all in favor, unanimous. All right. Okay, so the next one, I'm not sure what we need to do yet. Tallulah Falls girls volleyball team won the state championship this year, and they would like us to put up at each end of town a sign that says Tallulah Falls, home of the state champion girls volleyball team, something to that effect. I reached out to DOT and I haven't gotten a call back from the person that I need to talk to. I talked to several people and I finally got the number for the person I need to speak with. And he just hasn't gotten back with me just yet. So I don't know what the process and procedure will be, whether we have to pay for the sign or whether the state will. I just don't know yet. So I was hoping I'd have more information tonight. So
Can we put it on our existing city signs?
We probably could. I don't think we need DOT permission to do something like that. Those signs are gonna need some work anyway.
Hmm.
They're kind of falling into disrepair. And the lady that painted those signs for us, I believe, has just moved back to the area.
Okay.
She had been in, I think, Indiana. And Susie Schnurr, she used to live up above the general store. Actually, she owned the general store for a little while, had an art studio there. So I might talk to her and see if that's something she'd be interested in working on, but we'll have to repair the signs first because they're starting to come apart in some areas. So we'll look into that and see where we need to go. So
What period of time are you looking to do? Like a year, or is that what you're looking to do?
to have the sign up for a year,
This recognizing the photo falls.
I don't know. I need to see what their policy, DOT's policy is. I don't know if they have a time frame or. I know for a while, and it may still be up, there was I think a World Series Little League team in Habersham had won. And they won the World Series, Little League World Series, something, and it was on a sign right at the county line for a while. I don't know if it's still up. I haven't paid attention. I think some Miss Team USA was listed up there also, I think.
We've got that sign for Charlie Warner also. He has.
Can be Clayton. But and that's
It's
on,
been over a year.
yeah, but isn't that on the property there for blinkers or something like that? And wouldn't that be different? I mean, if it's on,
If it's not on right of way, then
yeah.
you have to go by whatever
right
local
of way.
sign ordinance is.
Yeah.
And, but they specifically asked about the green highway signs to see if we could get that done. So that's what I was looking at. I didn't know if I had to get council approval or not. That's, I'm still digging for that. So
Okay.
that's why that was on there. Let y'all know. Also just recognize that, hey, they won. That's a pretty big achievement for them. So we'll go on and move on to the discussion of school speed zone camera, law enforcement, and public safety initiatives. There was talk about the fact that we might not be able to use this. There's some question about how we could use the money. We know we can use it for law enforcement and public safety initiatives, as it says. What we weren't sure of is whether salaries could be tied to it. And we still don't really have a clear answer. It seems like you can. There's nothing saying you can't. But I reached out to several cities and several counties around the state that have these in various, and none of them that I talked to will want to tie salaries to their that money because they say it fluctuates very wild.
I can see that.
So when I talked to Joe Elam or Elam with Baldwin, he's like, yeah, all they do is they throw all the money into an account, and then when a need arises for the public safety or, fire or police, that's how they'll pay for it. They tie it up that way. So
Can it be used to supplement Tanya for reviewing all these tickets? It seems to be one of our biggest needs. If she's
Right.
spending the bulk of her time now reviewing tickets.
well, the thing that catches me, and the reason I'm cautious is that the wording is very specific, law enforcement and public safety initiatives. I don't know how they're defining initiatives, and I can't find it in any of the statutes. There's no definition for what initiatives means. I looked at Black's Law Dictionary and it didn't really say. So I don't know if it's just like a spare word that got thrown in. It's just initiatives. It mean anything.
And if it is like that, I mean, if it's that general, that almost kind of opens.
Right. So what I'm trying to do right now, and I haven't found out who I need to talk to yet. We want to find out who's going to be auditing this, who's going to be the watchdog on this program, and then talk to them and say, hey, how are you going to interpret this? So that as we do projects, we don't essentially misallocate funds. That's the worst thing we can do. And when I speak to the counties and other cities that have it, their mentality was, we want to pour it into something that helps increase public safety, especially around the schools. So we're gonna be a little bit restricted because since the school's not our school, we can't just give them things,
Right.
but we can do things. Like I think Tanya had mentioned, maybe getting bulletproof vests and helmets for the security guys with that money. And maybe there's a way we could do something like that and let them, and we loan them to them, or we rent them to them. I don't know. We can think so kind of creatively. Another project, and Mike's here tonight. Mike had contacted me. He's really worried about people speeding up and down Main Street and would like to put in some, see about putting in some speed bumps. I'm like, well, you know, that might be a public safety initiative.
Yeah. I like
So,
that idea.
he can speak a little bit more, and or you can speak now about your concern on that.
I'd be glad to.
So,
I'm Mike Gerbschott. This is my third winter in Tallulah Falls. Love our little community. Our main street out here, we have a lot of traffic. Not only Tallulah Falls School, but the kids in the neighborhood, the way the grocery, the little camp stores is, with a lot more traffic there. We have the coffee shop and the restaurant. People are coming down to the lake walking. It's a real narrow street. And I'm not one to complain. I'm not a Karen, and I've never been a rat. But we've got a problem here, I believe. We have some people driving 40, 45 miles from the stop sign coming down. The other day, I was just doing something. Our cars, we can park. I live in Carl's apartment complex, next door to Carl. Our cars parked at a certain point. I was just near the bumper, and I was leaning over to move something. The car went by me, maybe 3 feet away, going at least 45 miles an hour. I'm safe. You know, I'm a 5th-degree black belt. I've got pretty good agility. I didn't see the car coming, but as soon as it was there, it was there. However, there are a lot of young people that are much more carefree on this type of thing. Young man that lives with me is severely autistic, epileptic as well, and diabetic. And all those factors could be something where he just is a little bit too close to the road at the wrong time. I have found 2 dead, they look like they were pets, on the road and picked them up before. Carl lost his cat, well, his pet, about 4 months ago. Pets are one thing, but one tragedy would be a terrible tragedy in this town. On that. And I kind of understand the spirit. You know, I come from the city. I've only lived in the country now for about 15 years. I understand the spirit of being at that stop sign. You're an important person. You got places to go. You need to get to the little restaurant. You might have coffee with your friends. You need to get to Highway 441. And I know some of the people that are doing it. I don't want to mention names. I don't want to knock on any doors. I doubt it would be of any use anyway. I've talked to Carl about speed bumps. He thinks that's probably our best way to go. I mentioned it to Mike, and I mentioned it to Mary Beth, who has the store. She loved that idea. I've talked to many, there's not that many people that live on Main Street, but everyone I've talked to, which has been 5 people so far, it's been 100%. Yes, we need it. Just something to think about, and it would definitely fall into the realm of public safety, and could very well be the first expenditure that we could use with this new money that I helped contribute to as well. Thank you.
thank you. Yeah, so Mike had mentioned that, and other people have talked about that we have a problem on Main Street. I think it's something we can look at and at least talk about. Again, public safety, I think that would fit within that parameter. There were a few other issues like that also. While we're in this, we can keep in mind that the T-Splosh fell through in Habersham. Since we were trying to coordinate an exchange with the county, that's not going to happen for our radio maintenance fees, but this should cover the radios and the radio maintenance fees for that. So now I'm looking at the possibility of the Kenwood system, getting the P25 radios for that, because the Kenwoods would also talk on the Raven County's Nextel or NextEdge system that's made by Kenwood. Just need to see if the logistics, how that would work out with Faversham and make sure that would work before we start making a final, bring in a final decision or a final idea to look at. That's another public safety issue, law enforcement as well, because we could get their radios through that.
Would doing something out there where we were talking about, I think at one time, especially during the summer where the rafters come in and do all that. Would that
Possibly. I
go
mean,
in there as well too?
that's a public safety concern. And I mean, we're talking about speed bumps. I thought, well, another area to put speed bumps be on either side of the dock. And that way people would slow down while people are moving around in that area. I would have to see, get some public input. But yeah, something, because that was another concern that we had when we were talking, is that during the summer, the Y camp's bringing buses over, and those kids are walking back and forth and everything. And during the school year, the students come over here in kayak.
Not to mention the doves.
Oh yeah, the geese, we got to protect the geese. Actually, the geese irritate me more than the armadillos irritate you.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm still looking for a little bit of clarity, trying to find something that makes us understand what public safety initiative is, so that we can, if it is possible to tie salaries to it, we might be able to. And like you said, I feel like if our only police officer is spending most of their time reviewing citations, 10,000 citations this month or last month, it's a lot to have to go through. So we may need to find a way to either get her help or do something. So I think getting her help is probably what's going to be the best answer on that, so that she can be focusing on the other chief things.
I was thinking that last time we were together, Linda mentioned that I think you fielded 20 calls, if it was in a day or in a week, about.
It's every day.
It's every day. And I'm wondering, could that person be the first point of contact for these calls? Would that help?
Possibly. One thing I'm looking at is, I need to get with Windstream. There are voice over IP phone systems. Our phone system's way outdated. So I want to look at getting a new phone system that has that kind of that operator feature, where when you call in, you dial, it picks up, answers, says dial this, dial 1 for so-and-so, and have that for if you want information about the schools on cameras, dial this number, and it just either forwards to that person or sends it to Blue Line, where it's supposed to be going anyway.
We have that at work at the church.
Yeah.
It works really well. The best part is it goes to my phone.
Yeah, one of my clients, they have a system like that, so it comes to my phone.
And if I need to make a call, I can make it using the app on the phone, just as if it's coming from the church.
Right.
So,
That is a good idea though, as far as if you had somebody that can answer the phone for that, or, do whatever, review tickets or whatever.
Yeah, because a lot of the calls are just to make sure that it's a legitimate thing, because they get it, it has Chattanooga, Tennessee on it, so they're confused. And so, sometimes it's gonna require time to.
Might there probably, potentially there'd be other things that that individual could do as well. Probably.
Possibly.
yeah, but, if, with 10,000 tickets in a month, that's roughly just over 300 a day.
Right.
In an 8-hour day, that's a bunch.
But
can't-
that's very true.
I can't imagine if that number continues, that person's gonna have time to do much else.
I agree with you.
That's my concern.
I agree with you, but that is, especially if they could Because you don't have time to answer, I'm sure.
A lot of people come in wanting to pay it too, so I know one other city was talking about, I think it may have been Longwood, was trying to do a kiosk where people could.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
pay.
we can get a touch screen, little tablet set up in the hallway.
And I don't mind doing it for them if they're paying with a card, because they people just don't
But I think.
have a way to do it.
Not justifying it, rather be good.
So. So yeah, I think part of the reason we put this on the agenda was that Linda was wanting to see if we were wanting to try to categorize some things and how to put that money into categories if we needed to, or if it was just, we're gonna throw all the money in there and this thing's gonna like ball, as things come up, we use it. But we don't have to make that decision tonight, because if we're gonna tie salaries into it in any way, then we need to know how much we need to set aside for that each month.
Well, I guess the question would be, I mean, if you're looking at hiring another person, okay, or whatever, you'd almost have to be able, we'd almost have to be able to use that money for.
Yeah, well, that's why I just want to make sure we've got that
Yeah.
covered, because
We couldn't do it without it.
Right.
Right.
That's what I'm getting.
Well, we wouldn't need it if we didn't have this.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah, you don't, if you don't have that, you don't have the need, right, whatever.
And in talking to most of the other cities and counties where they have enough staff, they have enough revenue from other sources to pay. In fact, I think, yeah, Jefferson had, they had plenty to do with theirs. So they put in crosswalks, lit crosswalks and stuff like that with theirs, but they, as I talked to them, they're like, well, you guys seem to be in a really unique situation, and with that volume of citations, yeah, I mean, they need to see if there's a way to be able to do that. I just want to like I said, make sure we don't, since right now, we're the only ones I know that are doing.
Here's the thing, though, I want to bring this up, or at least make sure we would have a contingency, hypothetically. Okay, if you hired someone else, in effect, to do this. In June, July, up to August, so you've got like 60 days there or so. The cameras are off and,
That's interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
so, I mean, if you're gonna hire somebody, I mean, I still think we'd have things, that they could do, but I think we just need to keep that in mind. All of a sudden in June, they're not gonna have the tickets to file or go through and whatever.
well, really, in June would be reviewing the tickets for May, right? Dealing with fines for May.
Yeah.
So then it's
Maybe
just,
some of the calls that probably,
Yeah.
get reviewed within a couple of
Good
weeks.
point.
And the one thing I'm fairly certain on this is that the person reviewing it, whether they're the ones putting their name on it or not, I think they have to be certified. They have to be a certified police officer.
Well, that was the other thing I was gonna go to, was if you did that.
Because
Okay.
that might give us a patrolman during the summer. review.
Well, that's the other thing I was wondering, if that individual, would they need to basically go through I think, police academy or whatever in Athens that they have to do that or whatever. And it sounds like you're saying they would need
The
to.
way I read the statute, the person actually doing the reviewing has to be post certified.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people already post certified that would jump at the chance or be willing to take on that.
Natalia had mentioned that she thought she had somebody in mind.
Yeah, so I think it's her name that goes on it. I'm pretty certain it is. So it would probably let her be the one that chooses that person. Or we change the designation, put that person's name. on
Yeah, I
it.
was gonna say, I don't think it has to be the chief.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be. And then it'd be their name, but they would be an employee of the town at that point. So,
Yeah, but they would still have to be certified.
yeah,
right?
I'm pretty sure they're certified. So you can't just hire your niece to, unless she happens to be a law enforcement officer. So,
Yeah, just knowing really what the process for any expenditures is gonna be before, we get to that point. It's, there's something, Tanya's wanting to pursue, but at this point, it should just need to come to council. And request it.
Well, I think we need to let Mike do some more due diligence or
Right.
whatever to find out, and then, so we have clear parameters, and then we talk about. Plus, the other thing is, I mean, I guess from my standpoint, is I think giving this another 30 days to see if, I mean, it's kind of a mute issue if all of a sudden it drops down to 5 tickets in a month, or, I don't see that happening, but if it does,
I'm curious to see what winter will bring.
that's
yeah, I
great.
think also what we were talking about, Linda and I have been talking about, was not letting this become a slush fund for either the fire department or the police department to think, well, we can just go start
Right,
spending
right.
money.
Yeah,
This will cover it. We need to, I think there needs to be some accountability
I agree.
ahead of time.
I agree with that, and especially if we're gonna do something like bring someone else on, I think that, we need to.
Yeah, I think it needs to be treated like any other budget or
Right.
expenditure.
I agree.
Now, it is gonna be in its own account.
Yeah.
So we can track the spending. That way, whoever it is that's watching over it comes to us and says, what'd you use that money for? We can say,
So on our monthly budget would be a separate line item.
So, like on your balance statement,
Yeah,
it's in its own account.
It works.
okay.
So it's not in the budget because we didn't
right.
budget it for it, but it's in its own account.
And as it stands right now, we have a policy, I don't know if it's an ordinance or just a policy, that if there's an item that's over $500 and not budgeted for, that the department has to come to city council to get approval for it. So I think we just let it fall under that for now. If we need to come up with a new policy, we can. But I'll keep pursuing, trying to get a more firm answer on a more clearer definition of what an initiative is and how someone's going to interpret that.
Has Warren given us any input on this?
Not yet. He's been busy with the other tasks. I kind of haven't really gotten with him or even asked him yet. I mentioned it some time ago, but it hasn't been a priority. We've been worrying about other things.
Absolutely.
So, all right, well, if there's no more discussion on the speed cameras, we'll go on and move into mayor's comments. The only thing I have is that, first of all, we got Veterans Day coming up, so I want to say thank you to all of our veterans. And then our Christmas party, the Business Association is scheduled a Christmas party for the first Friday of December, which I think is the 2nd. And I think we're gonna start around 6. That's when we'll light the Christmas tree that night. We'll have our bonfire and have the potluck dinner in the school. I think we'll come out and bring their chili like they do every year.
World famous.
It's great chili.
She said that we'll eat at 6 and do the lighting at 7.
Okay. So, all right, so then I'm gonna open the floor to any public comments. Mike already got to say his piece. I'm glad that fit in. That kind of meshed in better with while we were talking about that, so just public comments. So we have anybody online wants to comment? Okay. Then we're gonna, Warren, are you wanting to speak with us in executive session?
Yes.
All right, so, well, that kind of, so I know how to phrase.
Sure.
Yeah, but we're gonna need to wait for Joey to get back before we can vote to go into executive session, so. Right now, I don't have one.
Could I add something?
Sure.
That is kind of revealed that with cameras. In the beginning, they make a lot of money, but the local people become aware of them. In other cities, if you were to study it, when you see the results, there's really a big drop in income you drive. However, this street out here does have a lot of tourists and the Atlanta people and so forth. So there's a good feed to it. So it's not just a local camera.
There was there were two guys on YouTube or TikTok or something, one of those things. And a comedy duo, but they went out and held up a sign and said something about speed camera, watch out for the speed camera ahead. And there wasn't a speed camera. And the other guy would be standing further down the road with another sign said, got you to slow down. And it was really hacking people up because then they'd speed up, take off and start speeding and end up getting pulled over down the road for going too fast. It was making a lot of people mad. So I just thought that was fun. So, all right, we need to, I need a motion to go into executive session for legal matters and property. So Joey makes that motion, Scott seconds, all in favor, unanimous. All right, so we'll go into executive session at this time. We need to- Close the session. All right, I need a motion to come back into regular session. Scott makes the motion, Joey seconds, all in favor, unanimous. There is no more business on the agenda, so I'll take a motion to adjourn. Joey makes the motion, Scott seconds, all in favor, unanimous. Tom, are you unanimous on that? Let's go. No, he's still-
Yes.
December.
Yeah, he said, yeah.
December 8th.
December 8th,
Meeting.
next meeting? I believe so, yes.
Very good.
All right. Go take, get some